People are rightly sickened by the horrific attack on Monday night in North Belfast. The acts of violence and arson that followed are totally unjustified.
We simply cannot ignore the depth of emotion that has been triggered by that spectacle of a black man losing his life at the hands of the police.
How to understand why the left responds the way they do. It's Marxism.
Yep.
That's all it is. Who's the majority? Who's in a position of power? They must be morally wrong. Belfast. So we have this in the United States. I will tell you this, and I said this, I responded to a post, I believe from Matt Walsh, where knowing the area, I said, I don't think we're going to see riots in a place like Collin County. Understanding the area relative, you'll have professional agitators, they'll try some stuff, but Texas isn't going to allow it. Also, I think the media wants to move on because this one is so bad that it's hard for even them to kind of spin, but that won't stop the professional racists from doing something.
For sure.
And then that brings us to Belfast. We covered that story, obviously, yesterday. It took place over the weekend. Immigrant, who, there's an update, was an asylum seeker, sawing a man's head off. And we'll get to some facts, some who, what, when, where, why now. But before all of that, I want you to keep this in mind. And I want to put this in context. So we have seen a response to this man who was having his head sawed off, right? For the first time, people in Belfast, they're at their limit. And there is some unrest. Not quite riots and violent assaults on random passersby, but they burned some stuff. Mm-hmm. I want you to look at the response from European leaders, particularly those in the UK, to what these people who are fed up in Belfast have done versus how they responded to the Floyd riots in the United States in 2020, and see if you notice the discrepancy in passion.
None of this is about community. Not one single bit of it. There's nothing community orientated about terrorising innocent and defenceless families who are fearing for their lives. It is thuggery, plain and simple. Racism is wrong, intimidation is wrong, and violence is wrong. There can be no excuse or no justification for what we witnessed last night.
This other explosion of activity that we've seen across the country at this time of coronavirus. Now, of course, it began with the murder of George Floyd. The list goes on. We've got so many inquiries, reviews, recommendations. When will we act?
So will he crack down properly on platforms like X that are fueling violence and hatred?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we will crack down on anyone who's fueling this division. We should all be calling for calm, call for that calm, and nobody who's a politician should be whipping up division and hatred.
How did you feel when you saw the video played out of George Floyd? To remind you, of course, he was the man who was killed by American police.
Absolutely shocked, as I'm sure everybody was shocked. It was really, really, really chilling. And I think that's why it sparked such a reaction across the world.
People are rightly sickened by the horrific attack on Monday night in North Belfast. The acts of violence and arson that followed are totally unjustified. We are united in calling for calm and determined to restore order, support the police and all those on the front line, and ensure that justice is done.
The death of George Floyd took place thousands of miles away, in another country, under another jurisdiction, and yet we simply cannot ignore the depth of emotion that has been triggered by that spectacle of a black man losing his life at the hands of the police. In this country and around the world, his dying words, "I can't breathe," have awakened an anger and a widespread and incontrovertible, undeniable feeling of injustice.
I deny it. Cops are far more likely in this country to be shot by a black man than the other way around. And they don't experience violence from police at rates higher than white Americans. They don't. So I deny it. If you want to make sense, I've said this many times, but if a bomb hits this place of work tomorrow, and all of us, I hope that you remember this, how to understand why the left responds the way they do. It's Marxism.
Yep.
That's all it is. Who's the majority? Who's in a position of power? They must be morally wrong. Police. George Floyd, the serial violent felon, must be right, who had a speedball that was going to kill him anyway, must be right because he's a black man. In this case, who is, oh, wait a second, poor migrants, not the people who are being subjected to random acts of violence day in and day out. LGBT, but then also Hamas. They simply look at whoever the minority or the underdog is, and they grant them the moral high ground. That's the only way you could see them right now saying, we need to respect the police. Let me give you the who as to the man who was sawing off another man's head. His name is Hadi Loaded. I hope I'm getting that wrong.
A loaded?
Yeah.
Like a loaded gun?
Yeah, pretty much, but not there. He just had a knife.
He's got a nice winter coat on at the beach.
Yeah.
No sunblock either. Go ahead.
He got to Northern Ireland through Sudan to Paris, then Paris to Dublin, then Dublin to Northern Ireland, and he was currently on a 5-year asylum permit. And here is a crazy sentence from the Belfast Telegraph. A loaded of Duncarn Avenue is also charged with threatening to kill an NHS radiographer. Oh! So you can't even say, we didn't see it coming. It's almost like it's exactly what we saw coming. He went in for a routine scan and thought the doctor turned him into a skeleton. To be fair, he thought he had taken his soul for the radiography.
I can't even tell if you guys are kidding or not.
Well, look, I don't understand how cameras work.
Black magic?
Apparently he threatened someone that day. Correct me if I'm wrong. I just don't know if it's fully confirmed.
It was his periodontist.
Now the man who was killed, Stephen, and I hope I'm getting Stephen Ogilvie. He's a local there. He's been blinded in one eye, potentially both.
Yeah, most likely.
I'm honestly, it's a miracle that he's still alive. So I hate to say it, but yeah, thank God he's only blinded. But I would take that over the alternative.
He's alive thanks to carbs.
Yeah, effectively. Well, the Irish, they love it. Also, I will say this is just the wrong place to pick.
Yeah.
In Europe to do this is Northern Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
So here are some scenes from last night. Riots, the language of the unheard, give them space to destroy. Now, I will say I haven't seen injury reports that show any of note at this point. And yes, some of these protesters, they were burning down I believe it's temporary assisted housing for asylum seekers, right? They broke the windows, they burned them down, but I don't believe anyone was harmed in there. I certainly do not support indiscriminate acts of violence against families who had nothing to do with this. But I will say this, it still is very different from burning down your local Walgreens. It is targeted. If you're saying, we don't want these people in our neighborhood because of the crime, we're going to take out the dwelling of these people that places them in our neighborhood. Not saying it's right, but I understand it. It's more thoughtful. If you're going to not so peacefully protest, having the subject, right, your antagonist, and being clear about it is very different from simply killing your fellow citizens because they happen to be in the same zip code. So here are some of the scenes from last night in response to a head being sawed off like an ISIS video. Protest took to the streets naturally.
On the outskirts of North Belfast, several hundred people gathered at the Clockfern roundabout. After the speeches, 200 masked men broke away and marched into the White Abbey estate.
Holy fuck, man. They just kicked us so far in. Oh my god! What the f***? Get me out of here, they're gonna drive into me, bro.
The group then made its way along this road and stopped at this property here on Abbeyville Street. They proceeded to stone every window in the property and threw wheelie bins through the bottom windows. I spoke to a woman across the road. She said that the complex had been used to house asylum seekers and immigrants. She said that the whole ordeal of watching people come down this road and attack the house was terrifying.
Glad you get the message.
For the first time.
I saw things tonight I didn't think I would see in the United Kingdom, things you'd associate more closely with war-torn countries.
my God!
It's an Irish car bomb. They really do Irish car bombs. So that's nice. And it was terrifying. Not saying that that is justified, but what I'm saying is, hey, how many times have we had conversations during the George Floyd riots, Black Lives Matter riots, what's going on with Antifa, bang, bang, we got a Trump supporter. How many times have we said, avoid these areas tonight? Hey, lock and load if you're within this zip code tonight. Every time there's been a major riot from the left, it's law-abiding citizens like us who have to make sure to hunker down. For the very first time, the left is going, oh my God, I can't believe, wait, I might be at risk for the first time. That's right. Think you'll learn from this and maybe stop? Your riots were supported by the politicians across the board. Mm-hmm. And according to many of those politicians on the left, the talking heads, it's not the boiling point here of the migrants or the asylum seekers who are committing crimes at disproportionate levels. It's actually the agitators, like Elon Musk.
They would say that there are those, and we have already heard from them throughout today, some who put their names to these statements, but most who do not. There are those who will seek to exploit the fear and the anger that is there and this tragedy for their own purposes. To those people, I say stay away. The community that I talk to, the community that I represent, do not want you. They do not want that disorder. They do not want this opportunistic style of politics or clickbait type journalism anywhere near their doors. Right. They need space. They need privacy to get over the trauma that was visited upon them last night.
And do you include Elon Musk in that warning that you've just issued there?
I think I can say with confidence that Elon Musk has never been and possibly never even heard of North Belfast before he has latched on to those who will see an opportunity here. I don't think that's fair. It's not fair for the victim.
I didn't know about the locality.
Of North Belfast who are trying to sew themselves back together after what they witnessed last night. And make no mistake about it, I have struggled with the word more forceful than horrific and traumatic throughout today. I don't think I've arrived upon it. Having spoken to these people, they really are in a bad place and they need our support. They do not need to be used for a wider political agenda.
The UK regulator has powers directing tech companies to remove violent posts and control racially charged responses. But Elon Musk chose instead to double down on inciting rhetoric on his platform.
Good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Smartest guy in the world. I think he's got a point.
Yeah. There was a post, and I talked to you about it beforehand. There was a post from somebody involved in the situation saying this is what our politicians are telling us to do, and she just listed out these things like we're supposed to be angry by this, and he basically just responded, "F them." Yeah. The problem isn't just that a person committed a crime, a person that should never have been there, that used the Paris to Dublin to get to Belfast so that they could claim asylum illegally in the UK using that route. The government didn't protect from that. The government didn't protect from something that should have been kept out.
The government orchestrated it.
Exactly. The government is not listening to them at all. That is why they're pissed off about this.
Yeah, because the government, they're never the victim of their own policies.
Mm-mm.
They're living on a hill, a gate. I don't care what country it is. The elites aren't subjected to this street shit.
Yep. Wow. Well, okay. So
very easy to be
this is what's going to happen, right? How much you want to bet that things get even more wild and woolly in Belfast because you're handling this the exact wrong way. And we're going to continue, by the way, with this segment on Rumble Premium. Mug Club is Rumble Premium. Rumble Premium is Mug Club. This is why we're not funded by a nonprofit, not funded by a church, not funded by a foreign caliphate. We are funded by viewers like you. It's why we are able to have the kind of show today that you won't find anywhere else. And it's always been this way. We are very glad to serve you as a master as opposed to some random corporate overlord. You get the show every day, 100% more show. You get the Friday show. You get everything ad-free. It's your best one-stop shop. If not, you'll watch Haley for free. We'll see you tomorrow. I know it's a rough day. Hopefully we've helped you out. Go check the references. Now, some people might just argue, and I would, that this didn't just happen. This is by design. And now they are blaming those responding to and suffering the consequences of said design.
Migrants are being scapegoated for problems that they didn't cause, and these arbitrary measures won't fix those problems, and they will harm migrants, people who need social care, our economy, anyone who fears racial abuse, which the rhetoric surrounding
they shouldn't get social care. How about that?
On this matter of health tourism, what has been found is that migrants to this country bring more and contribute more in tax than they take out of the system.
Okay,
no, it's true.
Rubbish.
It's a
Wrong.
fact. It's a fact. Sorry,
They say it in the States, and that's of course not true. Rubbish.
I've no hesitation at all in saying we need more migrants in London.
Migration is not a burden on the
He's
UK.
a migrant.
It's the foundation of our future.
Okay, Stephen
And for
Merchant
that reason,
banged
we need
Colonel
to have
Sanders.
Positive.
The more books
acceptance of
behind you, the
migration.
bigger the problem you are.
Pressures and the pressures on our public services, Nick, exist
Captain Ears.
quite separate from.
He looks like the other guy in
The
Mousetrap.
truth is, immigrants contribute more
That's
than
exactly
the
what I
average
was thinking
British-born
of.
person by £2,300
get back
a
into
year.
glory
Will you
hole,
just
Benjamin.
reflect for a moment at the massive contribution made in education, in health, in transport and many other industries by people that have come to this country?
I'm met with calls for us to have more people to contribute to our economy. And we have a working age population that is just not big enough for Scotland today. So we need to have a discussion about migration because we need to attract more people to come to live in Scotland.
I know you think there's another solution, that maybe we should just encourage the native Scots to breed more, but have you seen what the lasses look like?
It's not going to solve itself. Listen, they have unemployment in Scotland, right?
Right.
I'm sorry, it's not 0.0%, right? Or it's not some.
I do see your point.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I see your point.
So there maybe there are some Scots.
But we thought throw a few Hadjis at it and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, in the UK, didn't we do the number that there's like 1 million?
Yeah,
young,
but you also have to
men?
understand, before the brownies came in, all right?
Yeah.
We were eating like haggis. Any food is an improvement. So, like, we got that. You take with the good, with the bad. What's a little rape? If you've got some spice.
Little stabbing.
That's
little
right.
Beheading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's all give and take, son.
For some good street food. Got it. You love curry that much?
By the way, I don't know if you know this. In India, it's not called street food. It's just called food.
Let's have a diverse population here. The McDonald's near me, they have a McHaggis burger.
Oh, very nice.
I like diversity of European white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. I mean, yeah, there you go.
Yes, I'll have a McHaggis with a side of meat pie. By the way,
Shamrock.
Yeah, well, that's actually, we do have Shamrock. Yeah. They're second-class citizens, Brits, in their own country. 2015 to 2025, asylum seekers, refugees, they increased by 285%. So 169,000 to 690,000. And, of course, disproportionately commit crime. The number one baby name in the UK is Mohammed. How about we tolerate that when the number one baby name in Bangladesh is Todd?
Number one baby name over here for a girl's Tanisha. So
Yeah,
I'm sweating
exactly.
bullets.
Julie with an I.
And
Julie with an I.
the UK spends 2.5 to 3 times the amount of welfare spending on migrants than they do their native-born citizens. And now, Indians own more property in London than English people. Hey, like, one of these stats on their own might be a problem, but altogether, let's go with the remigration plan.
Just get it started right now. And all they're really asking, all they've been asking for a very long time, and that's why Nigel Farage initially came on the show, I think, was one of the things he was talking about, not just Brexit, but all of the boats of people just coming over. And I think migration was part of the problem. Once you get to Europe, you can just go anywhere.
Yeah.
You go anywhere in Europe, and they're just like, Italy's like sending them north. Just get out of Italy, and they go everywhere. They have not had any response. It's like they've had the same problem we've had, except for even longer, and they didn't have Donald Trump come along and close the border and end the problem, right? They're still going through that right now. And I just want to bring this up because crime happens. Murder happens. Belfast knows all about that. They have a very, very violent history, mostly Protestants versus Catholics, but very violent. That's not the only problem. That's bad when murder happens. That's bad when somebody's head is getting sawed off on a public street. What makes it worse, what makes Laken Riley's murder worse, is it was somebody who wasn't supposed to be here in the first place, and our authorities failed us in protecting us. What makes Irina Zarutska worse is that somebody was released from jail almost 15 times. I can't remember exactly what the number was. Released and put back out into the community. Our people failed us, and that shouldn't have happened. What makes this one worse in Belfast is that this guy, along with tons of others, have been gaming the system for years. doing things that the government should have protected its citizens from, and they didn't. That's why you're seeing the response. Don't mix it up. It's crime. It's not crime. It's people who shouldn't have been here in the first place doing things they shouldn't be doing.
It's really this simple. One is entirely preventable, and the other isn't. Okay, let me paint a picture for you. Let's just think. I want you to think of your government, you, and the consequences.
When you do this, can you do it in Bob Ross's voice?
I want you to think of government needs a friend here. A Somali pirate. A little Somali pirate there. And he has an erection. Of course he has an erection.
In your world.
A nice harem. Think of government, you, consequences. Okay. It's true. Death happens. Murder happens. Manslaughter happens. Accidents happen. Regardless of whether or not you have migrants. All right. You are walking down the street at a busy intersection, and someone for a split second loses attention. Some guy named Bob Smith hits on the brakes too late, and he goes through a red light, hits you. You're in a coma. It's terrible. It's a tragedy. But let me ask you, is there a law against running red lights? Yeah, there is. Is there a law that requires you to get a license and show proficiency in driving? Yes, there is. Do you have a light? Do you have a walk sign? Do you have a crosswalk? Yes, you do. In other words, the government has taken some reasonable steps to assure your safety, and they can never be guarantees because people can disregard them. Okay? Now let's flip it. An angry migrant is sawing your head off in the street. Are there laws to stop that? Or did the laws bring him over even though you didn't want them? And did the law, in fact, catch this man making threats and engaging in criminal behavior before, as we see time and time again, and do nothing about it because the government decided that he deserves a spot here because, my God, his country sucks? In one case, the laws created to protect you failed. That happens. We live in the real world. We get that. In the other case, the law that was signed, that was codified in spite of you, is what led to your misfortune or death. That's the difference. The law is what led to Laken Riley's death. The law is not what leads to someone's death in a car accident where people flagrantly disregard them or accidentally disregard them. In one case, the law quite literally killed you. The other, the law failed to protect you. It's that simple. We don't need to act like we don't understand it. Okay? Hey, let's compare. Black Lives Matter. They need space to destroy. This is the language of the unheard. David Dorn, Officer David Dorn, is dead because the law keepers made the decision that people could act in a way which would lead to his death. That's very different from a riot that breaks out, and before the police get a handle on it, some people are hurt. When the police are told to stand down and you're championing, defund the police, your laws, based on your worldview, based on your values, have led to the harm and deaths of people. And the other, hey, not all laws work all the time. It's that simple. YouTube's is something you're not allowed to say according to the guidelines. I was quoting the guidelines. I'm glad you're still here. It means you watched this video all the way through. Oh, it says here that Rumble, where you can go follow my channel, lets you say pretty much anything, provided it's not illegal. That reminds me of, what does it remind me of? Oh, yeah, YouTube, pre-2015. Go on and follow me there. I'm live, 11 a.m. Eastern, weekdays. Don't call YouTube a Oh, it's just a different way of saying it's